Hello and welcome to what I think is possibly episode 22. I've lost count a little bit, I'm sorry. It may be a little dark today. Having spent the last 2 days complaining about the 29-degree heat, I'm now complaining about the fact that it is overcast and very humid. So I apologise if it's a little bit dark because I've got some things to show you later that you might appreciate being able to see in a decent light, but we'll see how we go. Anyway, week 2 of the sock along. The Zoom meeting, the sock along Zoom last week, was something of a disaster. I sent everybody the ID and the code. Thursday morning came and I couldn't get into Zoom. As far as Zoom was concerned, somebody else was hosting the meeting and it wouldn't let me in. So I had to send everybody a new code and meeting ID because I had to start a meeting, then invite them essentially. And so we had lost some of our 40 minutes while all that happened and everybody got their codes and then slowly logged in. I think I've sorted it for this week. Tomorrow will tell, but I think it's sorted. If it's not, I just give up. But I think it is sorted. If you would like to join us for the Zoom, if you're brave enough, the best way now is to contact me via Instagram, amandajane.davies.58, and I will add you to our Instagram Zoom group, private chat group, and then if I do have to change the ID, I can send it to everybody all at the same time, rather than waste time sending emails to this person and Instagram messages to that person, which took up a lot of time last week. How I'm not completely bald by now, I really don't know. It was very, very stressful. But I think it's sorted. You're more than welcome to join us if you'd like to. Again, if you're brave enough. So sorry, I'm trying to pull a piece of paper. That's better. I was going to move the camera towards me as well. You don't want that. If this is your first time joining us, you're probably wondering what the heck I'm talking about. So I'm running a sock along through September and October. It started on the 1st, it finishes on the 31st of October. There are prizes, and guess what? I've left them over there every week. I have got an excuse this week. I had a blood test, you can probably tell, don't know if you can see, on Monday, and my kidney function has dropped, so I'm even more dippy than normal because there are toxins in my brain, and I didn't sleep very well last night because my IBS was playing up. This is too much information for you, I know, but I'm tired and I'm hot and I'm grumpy, and I'm going to have to pause in a minute to get the prizes to show you. If you're a returning viewer, you're used to this, and good on you for keep coming back, because I annoy myself, let alone you guys. If you're new, I do apologise. This is how it is. So if you can't cope with it, this is probably not the podcast for you. If it's okay, stick around. Every now and again you get a podcast and it's all organised and calm, but not today. Right, let me give you the rules and then I'll go and get the prizes. So it's running until the 31st of October. There are 2 ways to enter and 2 different prize streams to enter for. October is my birthday and Halloween. So there is a birthday thread and there is or stream if you like, and there is a Halloween. You can enter via Ravelry. There is on Ravelry, on the Mouses Makes group, a thread which is Sock Along 2021, and that's a chatter thread. So you can share what you're making and chat with other people. On Instagram, if you want to share what you're making, the hashtag is Mouses Makes Sock Along 2021. It's a great long word, I apologise. And there are 2 S's in the middle for Mouses and the beginning of Sock Along. There are quite a few people sharing on there now, which is gratifying, and I like to look at what you're making. I've seen some things that I am adding to my list of wools that I do not need. Let's be clear about that. Nobody needs any more wool in this house. If you want to enter for the Halloween prize, on Ravelry there is a finished objects thread, and that's no chatter, just your finished objects, and that is Halloween finished objects thread. Why could I not remember that? That's not exactly complicated, is it? On Instagram, you can post your finished object with the hashtag Halloween Cal 2021. And we've got, I think, 2 finished objects so far. If you're entering for the birthday prize on Ravelry, again in the Mouses Makes group, the thread is birthday Cal or something along those lines. You'll find it. On Instagram, the hashtag is birthdaycal2021, and I think there may be 1 entry there so far, bearing in mind this is the first week. If you don't have Ravelry, or you can't use Ravelry or Instagram, you can email me your finished objects at mousesmakes@gmail.com. But remember to tell me which prize thread you want to be entered into. Other than that, it's just the Zoom group, which I've already told you about. So now let me pause while I go and get the prizes, because I've lined up all my goodies that I want to show you. I've forgotten the prizes. Hang on a sec. Honestly, were my head not screwed on, 'twould be lost. Okay, so the Halloween prize is a little Batty sock-sized project bag, purple lining, comes with 6 mini skeins of sock yarn from Little Mouse House, and this is her mini elegant yarn base excuse me, and they're called Troll Music, which I thought was quite Halloweeny, and a pack of stitch markers to go with your bag that look like this. Little bats. This is actually one of mine because your pack is unopened. If you want to enter for the birthday prize, it's this bag, little flowery lining. The yarn that comes with this bag is a sock set on her high twist sock base, and it's Little Mouse House again, and this is called Scented Candles. So you've got this large skein which says it's 50 grams, but it's, I suppose it could be. I thought it was 100 grams. It feels like 100 grams, but it says it's 50. And 2 mini skeins. I think I said they were called Scented Candles. See? All over the place. And with this little bag comes these stitch markers. There is a Jaffa cake, a piece of Battenberg, a little birthday cake slice, and if it will play with us, a jammy toucher. And they all come in a little tin. I'm going to have to order some more of those for myself because they are just adorable. And then there is a third prize, which I've remembered this week. The third prize is going to be for my personal favourite pair of socks out of all the entries. And it is a specially made Mouses Makes mug and a set of the Troll Music mini skeins. If I can't decide on one, if there's one in either thread, then I might have to split the price. These mugs and the cushion are made by a friend of mine who is, I think, just about ready to launch a business. So you can buy your own Mouses Makes mug if you don't win one. He's got loads of other designs, and I think I'm right in saying that you could even have your own design put on a mug, a cushion, or a tote bag, which once again is out of my reach over there because it's got all my sock bags in with all my sock yarns caked up ready for making for the make along. See, I'm not joking when I say if my head wasn't screwed on it'd be lost. Anyway, I have managed to complete 2 pairs of socks this week. The first pair I completed is this pair, which was my kind of surprise ball of yarn because, and I haven't got it here, I put it in a, well, basically what I'm doing is, let me start again. Ordinarily when I make a pair of socks, there's enough yarn left over to make another pair with perhaps contrasting cuffs, heels and toes. But that's not going to work with this yarn because, as you can see, it's not like any sock yarn I've ever used before. So it's just going straight into my scrap blanket, because if I try and make another pair of socks, I'm going to have one pink one and one blue one, and I can't be doing with that. That's not, no. I'm very, very pleased that I managed to get them to match almost exactly. There's, I think, a couple of rows difference. Because I think when I showed them to you last week, I was just past the gusset on the first sock, and I was expecting it to now change back to the peachy pink, but it didn't. It went on to do this turquoisey colour, which just threw me. As I say, I've never had sock yarn like this. If you're wondering what it is, it's Stylecraft Head Over Heels, and the ball looked like it was going to be this blue and cream colour, and because I pull from the centre of the ball, I pulled out the middle and got this, which took me a couple of minutes to figure out whether I'd actually done something peculiar. So I won't, I'm afraid, be buying that again, because although Stylecraft is one of my favourite commercial yarn companies, I did not get on with this ball of wool at all. But anyway, they are finished. I knit them on a 2.25 needle. I think it was my Knit Pro Nova's. 64 stitches. I did 20 rows, I think I did, of 2x2 rib for the cuff, and then I changed into alternating 1 row knit with 1 row of 2x2 rib all the way down. Did a heel flap and gusset, and I quite like, I must admit, I quite like the way they got the pinky bit back on the toe, because it sort of ties them together. So I'm quite pleased with the socks. I just really didn't much like the yarn, if I'm honest. That's my first pair finished. My second pair finished are a bit special. These are, well, the pattern is Crazy Sock Lady, but the yarn is from my friend Alex at My Yarny Corner, and it's her DK, and I've left it over there. I think it's called, is it Wood Oak? Where's that? I don't know. Bear with me again. Would you believe I don't know what I've done with the tag, but I showed it to you last week. sure it's wood oak. Alex is probably yelling at the screen now. Alex, if you're watching, put what it's called down below because I've forgotten. Sorry. Yeah, she and her partner Danny have been on a bit of a dying frenzy just recently, and as a consequence I've been on a buying frenzy. Now, I don't know if you can see, but it has quite coincidentally, particularly this sock, micro striped, which I love. It's come out so that one sock, this one seems to have more of the darker green and this one more of the lighter green, but I don't mind that. I quite like it. It was Crazy Sock Lady's DK pattern, which is a free, I'm sure it's free download. I did adapt it slightly. I did 64 stitches. I did 10 rows of rib, which is what the pattern says. And originally, I can tell you this because it's a free pattern, originally it says to do 29 rows for the leg. And I did that, and I did the heel flap and gusset, and I got to about here, and I weighed my yarn, and I'd got 73 grams left of a 100-gram ball, and I just wasn't sure how much I was going to use for the first sock, because obviously it's got to be below 50 grams. So I pulled it back to 15 rows for the leg. Heel flap and gusset I did exactly as per the pattern. I did 35 rounds for the foot, and then I did the toe exactly as she describes, which is a slightly different method to my normal method, and they fit really nicely, even though I was a little bit suspicious. Let me take one off, because when I finished the toe it looks like this, and I thought, I don't want to put it on and look like a little elf. You know, they have those sort of curly things that, but it doesn't, it fits perfectly. So I shouldn't doubt her, she knows what she's doing, she makes a lot of socks. And I actually had, sorry, I'm reaching again, I actually had, oh, they were done on a 3.25 needle. I had this much left. So I could probably, I think, have done a 20 round leg, but it's a decent length, and I will start my DK scrap blanket with this yarn, I think. Sorry if there was chinking then. So that is kind of the sock along update. The only other thing I've been working on this week, Peter's cardigan has had no attention whatsoever, is this that I showed you the very beginnings of last week. And this is yet another version of the Rocket Tee. I'm striping it, as you can probably tell, and I've been carrying the yarn along. It's along this side of the V-neck, and I don't think it's gonna show, and it's now being carried up one of the sides. Actually, let me show you the back because you can get a better look at the colour. So I've divided for the armholes, and now it's just a question of working down the body for, I think I did 19 inches on my last one. I might do it a little bit shorter than that, maybe 18 and a half, because once you add the I-cord bind off, that gives you about ½ inch. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. The yarns I'm using, the darker green and the sort of yellowy mottled green and blue, are both from Knit and Purl yarns, and they are, the darker green is from her Sunflower Garden set, and the yellowy mottled one is Malachite. And then the light green which on the camera the dark green is the most bold, but in real life it's the light green that you notice, and the light green is Mojito from Little Icac Yarns. Gosh, I am really hopeless this morning. So that is working out really nicely, and it's a very enjoyable pattern, bearing in mind that over the last week, I can't remember, I think I'd just done 3 stripes, not quite 3 stripes last week when I showed you. I ought to put a progress keeper in, but I forget. So if you think I've done all of this and knitted the best part of 2 pairs of socks in a week, it doesn't take a great deal of time to knit up, even though it is fingering weight. So that's coming along nicely, and that, as I say, is pretty much the only thing that's had any attention. I showed you this last week, this shawl that I'm making for the Ruth Loves to Knit, that's going to fall on the floor and make a terrible noise, podcast. And I said next week it'll be a bit more exciting to show you, and it should be, because I did the exciting thing, but I had to pull it back because somewhere along the line I'd not got enough stitches. So you might get to see the exciting thing next week. I will tell you, rather than keep you in suspenders, as they say, it's the Odyssey shawl by Hoagie Locatelli. So at the moment, as I told you last week, it is rather underwhelming. But hopefully, and the grey's not coming out very nicely. It's looking very yellowy on there. It's quite a nice clean whitish. How can you have a whitish grey? What am I talking about? It's a nice clean grey, but for some reason the camera picks things up as with quite a yellow tone. So you might get to see the exciting bit next week. The trouble is, I only really work on this on a Friday morning Zoom, when I'm doing the Aria Bark Zoom knit and natter, so it doesn't get a lot of attention. It gets maybe an hour and a half. Yeah, it's a bit neglected. Sorry, I've just realised I've completely disappeared off the screen. I am sorry. Let me put that down. Oh, I am completely disorganised this week, aren't I? I've just found something else that I bought to try. I'm going to give this a go. I've tried all the methods of knitting socks apart from this. I don't get on with DPNs because the fingers, not the fingers, the tips make the palms of my hands sore. I mostly use Magic Loop, that's my favourite. I've tried 2 at a time, seem to take forever. I've tried using 2 cables, 16-inch or longer, and that seems a bit of a waste of time unless I'm doing 2 at a time, which I don't really enjoy. So and I've tried higher flyers, had the same issue with them as I did with DPNs. So I'm going to give this a go and see how we get on. And I bought some yarn. Now, little disclaimer before I show you this. Firstly, I've had to completely reorganise my sock yarn drawers in order to make room for this. Secondly, I entirely blame Caroline from the Aria Bark podcast, because she showed me one of these yarns, which led to me going on to the Wool Warehouse site and buying all the others as well. So it's not my fault. And if you believe that, you'll believe anything. I've got to move these out of the way now. Hello, Pops. Hello, Poppy. Poppy's come in to see what we're doing. She was in the garden a minute ago. I saw her. Now she's looking at the prize bags. So the yarn that started all of this was this one. It's Autumn Leaves by West Yorkshire Spinners. And commercial sock yarn wise, West Yorkshire Spinners are my favourite. And this, I just fell for the colour. And this is what Caroline showed, was one of the balls that she'd bought. And consequently, I then had to go and have some. But of course, I needed a contrast to go with it. Not that I haven't got a contrast to go with it. So I bought this one. And this is Nutmeg. So that's 2. And then while I was looking, I thought, oh, I had a ball of this last year and I really, really liked it. So I got another one of these, which is Candy Cane. And last year I made 2 pairs of socks, and I've got a tiny bit left because I contrasted it with Milk Bottle and a red. Can't remember what the red is. But I thought, well, I don't want to do the same again this year, so I bought this one. This is Chocolate Lime, which is the exact green that's in the Candy Cane, same as I had the exact red that was in the Candy Cane. And then, because I've almost finished my ball of Milk Bottle, I bought this one. They didn't have any Milk Bottle, so I bought this one, which is Marshmallow, which will go with everything because it's just like very slightly off-white. So that was the West Yorkshire Spinners haul, but that wasn't all of the yarn. I also bought, and I don't know whether I should show you this or not, because it's for somebody's Christmas present. But that somebody probably won't look, so it's okay. I bought this one, which is Heritage Prints. It's not one I've used before. It doesn't have a name, it's just colour 104. But it's kind of autumny colours. I thought that was rather nice. And I bought this ball as well, which is the same make, and again it's not got a name, it's colour number 69. Oh, lot 01. Do you think it's like books? It's like a first edition, it might be worth something. Probably not. But I absolutely love those colours. So that was 2 balls of Heritage Prints. And then another yarn I've not used before. This was on, I'm sure it was this one, was on sale. It's King Cole Footsie. And this one is, the others are 75% superwash. Well, hang on. These ones, West Yorkshire Spinners, as you probably know, just say 75% wool. And I think, well, yes, it does. It's 35% Blueface Leicester. Do you remember last week when I told you English wasn't my second language? It's not even my third language today. Right. West Yorkshire Spinners just says 75% wool, and we know that 35% of that is Blue-Faced Leicester. The Heritage Prints says it's 75% superwash merino, and you can actually feel it is very soft. This, however, which again I've not used before, is 93% acrylic and 7% PBT, whatever that might be. I presume it's the equivalent of nylon. This is shade 4901, and it feels like it might be a little bit stretchy. Yeah, so that's that colour, which again, it's got my favourite green in it. And then I thought, oh, this looks quite Christmassy. So I bought this one as well. Oh, this is called Christmas Fruit. Ah, there you go. This is kiwi fruit. I've just realised the name's in a different place. So the green one is kiwi fruit and this is Christmas fruit. So I was right, it did look Christmassy. And this is exactly the same. Same yarn construction. Is it recipe? I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Oh, I've got something in my eye now as well. I've nearly finished. It's okay. Sorry, don't look. I'm pushing about in my eye. So that was the all the commercial yarn I bought. So that's 9 balls. And then Alex and Danny, her partner from My Yarny Corner, updated the shop. And so in I swooped like some kind of a vulture and got this. And this is wood oak, baby oak, beg your pardon. Yes, I'm fairly certain, sorry Alex, I'm fairly certain this is wood oak and this is baby oak. I'm going to try and do what people do this, don't they? Oh, that looks quite pretty. Yeah, definitely this one is baby oak and it is a 75-25 superwash merino and nylon. I think there was only one of those and there was definitely only one of these. And this is Toil and Trouble. So I grabbed that one quick because there was another lady commenting on Alex's Instagram post, but she was too slow. So I had to have this. It's the only Halloween yarn that I've got. Please don't feel sorry for me, I have many other yarns. But this I had to have, and it came with a little, turn around the right way, a little sock, stitch marker, which frankly I absolutely adore. So yeah, Toil and Trouble, and this is 75-25 again, superwash merino and nylon. And I know she's got another shop update coming in a couple of days, but I really must try very, very hard to restrain myself because there is literally nowhere for this yarn to go. Even accounting for the 5 or 6 sock bags down there that have already got yarn in them, there is no space for yarn anywhere anymore. No more yarn. So that's it for today. I don't think that's too bad. I'm interested to try this acrylic yarn and see. I mean, it's going to knit up fine, but it does feel, I don't know if you can see, look. Feels like it's got a kind of a stretch in it. If anyone has used this, feel free to comment and let me know how it works as socks, because I can always make something else out of it if it's not going to be. I mean, it is sock yarn. It's called footsie for goodness sake. But I've not used acrylic sock yarn before, so that will be interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna be quiet now and go away and let you all take a paracetamol or whatever you need, having put up with me for just over half an hour. And those of you who are brave enough to join in with the Sock Along Zoom, I will see you tomorrow morning. And the rest of you will see me, I remember this week, next week. Happy knitting. See you next week.